Can we count on you? That's a question you will be asked your entire life by your employer and coworkers, your family and friends. What they want to know is, are you an accountable person? Are you someone who always gets the job done, keeps your word, does the right thing? Are you always 100% responsible for your words and actions? Okay, you might be thinking those things are easier said than done. Hey, that's fair. It does take real effort to be an accountable person. The good news is that I am going to show you 10 behaviors that anyone can begin doing at any time, no matter what kind of job you do or what position you hold in the organization. The more you practice these behaviors, the more you'll be recognized as someone who can be counted on. Accountable people do their best not to let themselves or others down. And that brings us to the first behavior. Make sure you understand. In the workplace, there are no stupid questions, just people too proud or afraid to ask them. When you're given an assignment and think that asking a question will make you look stupid, just remember that you'll look a lot worse if you end up doing the assignment wrong. The fact is, most people who are giving an assignment want you to ask questions. Makes sense, right? So if you're unclear about something, ask. Make sure you know exactly what the finished product should look like, and specifically when the task needs to be finished. The more you know going into a project, the better your chances of doing it right the first time.
Lynn, I had a question for you.
Sure.
On this section of the website you asked me to redesign. What's the goal? I mean, in your email you asked me to optimize visitors' experience on these pages, so...
Right. Exactly.
What are some areas you could see us improving?
Oh, gosh, you know a lot more about that than I do. Just make it look better.
Okay. He tried to make sure he understood the assignment, didn't he? It's not his fault that Lynn blew him off. Wrong. An accountable person would follow Lynn and explain that he needed more details in order to do the project right the first time. Or if that didn't work, he would find another person who could thoroughly answer his questions. Point is, always be persistent in getting the answers you need. It's important we agree it's best when do we all speak clearly, everyone not that's a consensus. Did you get that? I didn't think so. I was making a point about the next behavior, speaking and writing clearly. If I spoke like that, I wouldn't be doing a very good job as a host, would I? You'd be confused and wouldn't get my message. I'd have wasted my time and yours. Writing and speaking clearly will make all the difference when it comes to being accountable. Why? Because clear communication helps prevent mistakes and misunderstandings. It also makes you and your organization look more professional and trustworthy. When you speak to someone, speak clearly and with confidence. Try not to use a lot of filler words, like and And when you're talking in person, make good eye contact. As far as writing, the same guidelines apply. What do you think an email like this says about the person who wrote it? Instead of communicating a clear and well thought out message, it's confusing, full of bad punctuation, bad grammar, and bad impressions. So, take the time to review what you send out. Use spell check. Make sure that everything in your message follows the basic rules of grammar. A lot of people use texting abbreviations and jargon in their work emails these days. But in the professional world, you are judged by your writing skills. So save the cutesy stuff for your friends and family. Finally, remember that everything you write will most likely be around forever. So don't send anything in an email that could embarrass you later. Back to speaking. Let's watch an example of a supervisor first assigning a task in a very unclear manner, and then we'll repeat the scene, showing the supervisor communicating in a clear way.
That's the morning shift, so I think we're covered there. Oh yeah, there's a problem I need your help with. The F6 work teams are constantly running low on parts, and someone needs to find out what's going on. Aaron? How about it?
I guess so, Carl.
Good. Okay, then, I guess that's it. See you guys later. Hey, that's the morning shift, so I think we're covered there. Oh, yeah, there's a problem that I need your help with. The F6 work teams are constantly running low on parts, especially during peak production time, and we're spending so much time chasing down parts, it's starting to affect our ship dates. I mean, we have to ship in parts at the last minute, and that costs more than the part.
So you need someone to be responsible for looking into the problem.
Right, and also making some recommendations for fixing it. So, Aaron, how about it?
Well, we have had part shortages as long as I've been here, and I know it's a big problem for the team, but I'm not really sure if there is a workable solution for this. And even if there is, whether I'm the guy who can come up with it.
I understand, and I don't know either. I just know that it's costing us time and money, and we just can't ignore it. But right now, I just need to know whether you're willing to take this on. Someone's got to own it.
Yeah. I guess I can do that. I'll own it.
Great. By when can you be responsible for analyzing the problem and getting some recommendations to the team in writing?
Why don't we say, Wednesday of next week, 5 o'clock?
Terrific. We'll count on you then. Thanks for owning it.
Next, do what you say you're going to do. Nothing's more important than that. It's kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of people fall short in this category. In today's world, many people don't deliver on their word. If they say they'll have an assignment ready by Tuesday morning, but it's not ready until Tuesday afternoon, they figure, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that the people we work with count on us, so they don't appreciate it when we're unreliable. Sure, there will always be things that come up, things that may make it hard for you to do what you agreed to do. But you just have to deal with it and do it anyway. That might mean working a little late or asking for help from others. And it's not just the big things you should follow through on. It's also the small things like, hey, I'll give you a call this afternoon. Some people will rearrange their schedule to wait for your call. So call when you say you will. When you consistently do what you say you're going to do, people will know they can count on you. And it will be no accident that bigger and better assignments will come your way. As you'll see in this next scene, sometimes you'll hit obstacles when working on tasks. But being accountable means keeping the task moving forward no matter what.
Carmen, I was just going over our agreements from our team meeting, looking into why some of the patients are getting infections at their IV site. That was yours, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it at the end of the week. How's it going?
Oh, yeah, Nancy. Well, I checked. But, you know, it'd take going through med records for patients that have already been discharged, and they've already been filed away in the records room.
You did agree to look into this.
Look, Nancy, I'm as committed to patient safety as anyone. I just really don't feel I have the authority to just go rooting around in the records room. Do I?
Carmen, I've thought about what you said about not having the authority to check into the records room.
Yeah, I mean, that would have to be Charlotte, right? She's the floor supervisor.
Carmen, when you made the agreement and accepted the responsibility for looking into the IV problem, you were in effect agreeing to move the task forward in spite of all obstacles.
You're right. I could have checked with you, or Charlotte, I suppose.
As floor supervisor, Charlotte would be the one to know for sure.
I suppose we could check with Charlotte right now.
Next up, don't make excuses. When you're accountable, you take responsibility for all of your actions and all the outcomes and consequences of your actions, good and bad. That's a tough lesson to learn. But the truth is, most people can see right through an excuse for what it is and attempt to hide our shortcomings or smooth over our failures. On top of all that, it's hard work coming up with good excuses. You can only claim the dog ate your assignment so many times. So be accountable. If you've missed a deadline or things have gone wrong, admit it. Then take all the creative energy you would have put into your excuse and instead tell people how you will fix the problem. People will admire you for having the ability to be honest with yourself and others. Let's take a look at this next clip where an employee does a good job taking some rough feedback from her coworkers without making excuses.
I remember this one. The design team really had a lot of fun putting it together.
Thanks. The team had a great time on this one, and so did I. Guess that's it for publications?
Yeah, but,
Katie, I don't think we're quite done.
Okay. Tell me what you're thinking.
It made at least 4 other projects late.
Okay, I admit it came out a little late.
And it was over budget, too.
That's how the design department first got behind schedule.
but I think the biggest issue is that this was only supposed to be an interim publication until we released the full report. But it turned into a really big deal.
So what you're saying is maybe I shouldn't have spent so much time and money on this one piece, given all our other priorities. You're probably right.
We just saw that when we make mistakes, we shouldn't make excuses. Now, the next part of being accountable is to learn from our mistakes. Learning from mistakes means that after we've admitted that the mistake occurred and have avoided blaming others or making excuses, we can start thinking about how we can do better next time. Think about the last time you may have messed up at work. Were there things you could have communicated in person instead of using email? Or should you have asked for more time up front to get a project completed? Most likely you've had situations where a bad result or failure helped you rethink the way you do things. That's what I mean by learning from your mistakes. Let's watch Wes as he deals with Peggy and, based on a mistake he makes, changes his approach to coaching her.
And you are going to love this new program.
My old system works just fine. I'm on a first-name basis with most of my vendors.
You don't get it, do you? There's a little something called best value purchasing. And you can't do that gabbing with vendors on the phone. Now, let's get started. What do you say? Don't worry, I'll help you every step of the way. Okay, that's your main screen. See that? Well, that's mostly my fault. I didn't set you up too well on the system, Peg. Look, why don't you and I just start by comparing the new system with the way you made purchases before?
Oh, you mean gabbing with vendors?
Hey, Peggy, if it weren't for your contacts, returning 90 workstations would never have gone so smoothly.
You know, Wes, I don't think I'm comfortable actually purchasing directly online yet.
I think you're right about that. But you can still post your quote request online, research cost, and get best value pricing. Then, until you're comfortable, you can just pick up the phone to complete the transaction the way you're used to.
That helps a lot.
I want to show you one other thing here.
Another fundamental part of being accountable is being ethical. That means being honest and always doing the right thing. If you're a person who stands by your actions, which accountable people always are, then you have to make sure your actions are fair and just. It's not just about avoiding the obvious things like stealing and lying. It's also about the smaller things, like not using work time to shop online or make personal calls. Strong ethics are demonstrated when we choose to do the right thing, even knowing that no one else will find out. We do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. So always be ethical, even when it's difficult and doesn't make you very popular, as we'll see in the next scene.
Whoa! Martin's clocking us all out at 4.
It's only 3.
Look, Ramon's gone. If we all clock out together, he'll never know.